Good morning. This is Angie Yuen from Hong Kong. I'm sorry that I cannot attend the Dublin conference because of some other engagement. My apology. I have been asked to share my personal experience as a woman leader. Firstly, I would not claim myself as a woman leader, but I would like to share with you my thoughts on the topic. Regarding my upbringing, I am extremely privileged that I was born into a very loving family. My mother prayed for more than 10 years for a girl, and she thought that a girl can be an angel who can bring blessing to other people. And she taught me to be loving and to serve others. And she has been an extremely open and given me a lot of freedom. So I'm really indebted to her. And I also have a domestic helper who brought me up, and I call her Amr. And she was from a very rich family, but she ran away from her home because her husband had a second wife, and also her husband was very abusive. She ran away from her home in Wuhan, China, and ran all the way to to Hong Kong, and took up the post of being a domestic helper in my home. And she has been an extremely good example to me, because she told me that a woman has to be courageous, a woman has to be independent, and also, we should withstand challenges and hurdles, and should try to pursue our potential, without, just submitting to the dominance of man. So I think she has a great impact on me as a woman leader. And when I went to school, I was also privileged in joining an extremely good Christian school. And my principal was extremely progressive in education. She advocated for all-round education, and also she brought in to school a lot of new innovations, including a lot of opportunities for us to be involved as volunteers, even working with delinquents. And also she brought in to our school blind students and given them a lot of opportunities, and asked us and educated us to be loving and caring to those that are underprivileged. And I think her experience and her example has helped me a lot as an educator, because she advocated that education should be a catalyst for social change and development. And I believe this to this day, that education should be a catalyst for social change and development. And also, when I became a social worker, I was extremely privileged, because when I joined social work in Hong Kong in the 70s and the 80s, that was a time for the great expansion in social work. So we had a lot of opportunities to be engaged in advocacy for new services, in developing new social service policies. And when we have dreams and we have ideas, then a lot of times these ideas were being actualized and being implemented. And actually, I also help in advocating for the maternity leave for women employees in the 1970s, the late 1970s. So there were a lot of opportunities. So nothing was impossible to me, because I could see that when we have ideas, when we have vision, when we have purpose, then a lot of times nothing is impossible, and we can pursue our dream without a lot of obstacles. So gender was not my obstacle. And I can see that if we have the ability, we have the ideas, and we have the courage, then most of the time we are able to actualize what we believe in. And so that was my experience as a social worker. Later on, I had the opportunity to join university and taught social work in universities. I taught in Singapore and later come back to Hong Kong. And I was, extremely privileged too to be able to work with many good colleagues and friends. And then we were able to develop new curriculum. And also, for example, we also developed the first Master in Social Work program in the Chinese mainland. And at that time, there was no such program in China. So we were given a lot of freedom to experiment on new programs and worthwhile and meaningful programs without much obstacles. I had a lot of male